Have you ever gotten just some great news? I mean, like news that makes you smile from ear to ear and just go, let's go! That type of news that's just so exciting. Isn't it just great to get great news like that? I love hearing good news, and in fact, I want to ask you to share some good news because we've been hearing a lot of not so good news recently. So I think it would be good if we shared some good news. So in the comments below, share some good news you've gotten in the last month or the last few months or whenever. Just share some good news in the comments so that we can rejoice in that with you. Now, I'm going to throw up on the screen right now a picture that was some really good news to me back in 2012. May 19th of 2012 to be exact. This is my favorite team, Chelsea. It's a soccer team in London, England, and they had just won the UEFA Champions League, which is the highest honor that any team can win. It's the greatest trophy other than the World Cup in all of soccer. And so I was really excited when that happened. Like, I was super stoked. Like, this was the greatest day. I remember screaming, let's go, like a ton of times in my living room. And I was just pumped that they had won the greatest trophy they could. It was the first time ever in Chelsea's history that they won it, and I was watching, and it was just so exciting. And you know what, though? That's interesting about this, it was good news for me, right? But I want to ask you a question. Was that good news for you to hear that they won? Actually, was that bad news for anybody? It might have been, right? Actually, think about this. The team they beat, Bayern Munich, it's pretty bad news for them, right? For their fans, for their players and coaches. Pretty bad news, right? That means they didn't win it, right? So yeah, it could be bad news. That's the interesting thing about good news. See, the interesting thing about good news is that good news is not always good news for everybody. It might only be good news for some people. Think about this scenario. You bought a lottery ticket, but on your way to your car, you dropped it. You lost it and you didn't realize it. And then you see on the news the next day that somebody won the $25 million jackpot and he found the ticket laying on the ground outside the store you were at. That was your lottery ticket. Great news for them, right? They won $25 million in a stroke of luck by finding your ticket. But terrible news for you because you're still broke. See, news that's good for everybody is actually pretty hard to come by. In fact, I've actually only found one source where I can find a place that has consistently good news for everybody. And it's literally in the pages of the Bible. The pages of the Bible actually mention good news or the word gospel, which is just a fancy way to say good news, over 100 times. And unlike other good news, the good news we find in Scripture, in the Bible, is good news for everybody, not just a select few. Maybe you've heard about the good news of Jesus before, but you don't really know that much about it. Or maybe you think you know everything there is to know about the good news of Jesus. Or maybe you don't know what I'm talking about when I say the good news of Jesus. And whatever boat you fall into, whichever boat you're in, as far as that goes, we're going to talk about that this week. That's what we're talking about this week in our series, Jesus Is. We're going to talk about that good news. So join us again on Saturday when we're going to dive into this conversation further and do it game show style because that'll just be fun. So I will see you guys on Saturday.